I'm here with Angelica McKenzie, who has been nominated as Teacher of the Year by her colleagues at the Ezra Nolan Middle School 40. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you very much.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and what do you teach?
So my name is Angelica McKenzie, and I teach AV production and graphic design. And a little bit about my origins is I was born and raised in Jersey City. I'm a native and a first-generation American, and I worked very hard and graduated as an interior designer, and then worked to become a creative director for startups. So that means working in marketing, commercials, and advertisements. And I've always wanted to teach and give back to the students in my community, because while I was working professionally in California and in New York, I worked about 7 years in the district at 23, doing the multicultural celebration and providing dance and song to children for 7 years, and kind of exploding that into like a big event that we even brought to Grove Street. And my hopes as working as a professional teacher now in my own capacity is I want to be able to give even more opportunities to students, not just for recreational purposes, but for occupational reasons.
So did you always want to be a teacher, or you said you were a producer before, so what made you change your mind?
So my mom actually is a world language teacher at 23, and seeing her become a teacher and just like the whole process of being a child of a teacher, just like seeing how she shaped the minds of so many students, like meeting students that went to college and became like adults, and then seeing them interact with her later in life. They're just like, because she's called Senora McKenzie, and I'm just like, wow, this 30-year-old knows you? And she's like, yes. They're like, I'm a doctor now, and I do this. And they're like, now I can speak Spanish like fluently because of you. So essentially, like that joy of helping, I found that through the multicultural teaching dance and everything to students. And then now as a teacher myself, like it truly, like right, even today, seeing some kids who now go to Snyder that I just had, that just the joy that they have, they're like, I gotta show you this thing I did, Miss McKenzie, and this thing too, and I work in this production now. And I'm just like, ugh.
It is very rewarding. Did you have teachers who inspired you growing up?
So since I was from Jersey City, I went to Cordero, I went to 27, then I went to McNair. So I would say there's like two really influential teachers. One is Miss Downs. She was my music teacher in the first grade, and she's essentially the key teacher that propelled me into just music in general. So I learned instrumental music from her. I was the youngest student to ever play like in the band, and then that segued into vocal, and then I went into VPA and I did instrumental as well, which is now JC Arts. And so like my love of music has been essentially ignited by that one teacher. And my other teacher in McNair was Miss Dwyer. She was my African American lit teacher, and through that I learned about theater. And she also became the theater supervising teacher, and then I did my first play with her, so yeah.
So obviously you had your mom and role models that propelled you. How do you get your students to engage in class and be the best they can be?
So in regards to engagement, I guess I'm a little lucky because with AV production, I can always bring in media that the kids are always consuming. So I love to bring in like video games, anime, movies, TV content that the kids are always consuming. I even I have like a current events kind of thing that I do where I make the kids bring in social media content that's going viral that week. And then we kind of unpack, why did this clip go viral? What elements, was it something someone wore? Is it their hook, like the script that they've used, the storyboarding? So we kind of unpack what virality is, and then in turn, the students can be like, oh, this is actually like something I can achieve on my own. So that's definitely a way that I engage the students. Plus, I always give opportunities to my students that excel to be part of programs that are happening during the school. So for example, in the last 2 months, we had the Black History Month and Women's History Month. And I had my 8th grade students, they did all the behind the scenes. They did the audio, they did the costume and props for all the people who performed for all those assemblies. So I always love to tell them that if you work here in class, I can take you out and you can start becoming like, I wasn't even with them in backstage. I was taking photos in the front. So I'm just like, this is the type of responsibility that real life is. Once I teach you a skill, you'll be able to take that skill and then move forward with it on your own.
That's great. So, what would you share with parents about your program and how to get students engaged in something they love? May not be a career, but something they love.
So in regards to parents, I love to have parent involvement. So for two things, I was working on a Moana production and a haunted house, so I had to involve the students because we did a lot of after school. And the parents were pitching and saying like, how about this for costumes? How about this? And I'm just like, I love the ideas, and then having them even come to practice and kind of see what their students are at. So definitely having that parent reinforcement, make sure that the children come on time, and also the children have more buy-in to actually perform better because they know that their parents and their peers are going to be able to see them. And what was the second part of that question?
So, how to get them ready to be successful?
Oh, okay. So I believe that even though I'm teaching them like production and like, audio and stuff like that, I don't have the expectation that all of them are going to go out and pursue audio. Like that'd be unrealistic. But the skills that I teach them, essentially like leadership, because to be on a crew, like our people back here, to be able to do camera work, audio, everything, everyone needs to work seamlessly together. And I always say that at every turn, maybe part of the class you'll be the leader, and then in the second half of the class, the same 45 minutes, you'll be the supporting person. And you need to be able to listen and also act, So that trait is something that I've taught every single student. So I feel that through my class, I'm teaching them how to become leaders and also great supporting team members, as well as every day in class, we have class discussion about current events or about new topics that I'm teaching. And I always require every student, they have to contribute. So even if your opinion is incorrect, at least you have an opinion. And that's how it is to be in the real world. To be right at the middle ground on the fence, you will never get anything. You'll never lose or you never win. So we have to decide, how do we feel about something? And as a class or as me, if they don't want to discuss in front of everybody, I will guide them in the correct direction. But I believe public speaking, leadership, teamwork can be brought into any career, and those are essential to my class.
They're part of every career.
Yes.
A successful individual in the workforce, whatever job, will have to work with others, needs to be teamwork, needs to communicate. That's a part of life. So that's something our students get from your class.
Yes.
So how do you see the program growing?
Oh, this is my favorite question. So since we are so young, since we are the only middle school that does CT, I want to be able to do like partnerships with the new film production studios that are coming out actually. So Lionsgate is going to be opening up in Newark very soon in like the next year or two. And I just saw a post about them trying to recruit local people to become filmmakers and everything, but like college students. So I was actually going to reach out to them this week and ask about the educational program, like how much they would be willing to give like middle school students. So if they say yes, that will be definitely the trajectory to kind of get the kids, like I teach them something in like for a month, and then they get the opportunity to go to Lionsgate, shadow some people, maybe for a day, maybe for 2 days, and kind of get that real feedback on a real set. And that's what the whole point of this is, Get them out there, whether they're using equipment from our school and we're renting it out and we're doing something, or they have their own equipment that they've been saving up for, that they're able to start understanding that career trajectory, and it doesn't feel like this far off thing that's like, oh, that's unattainable. It's like, no, you don't need a lot of money. As long as you have your cell phone, you got a good camera, you clean your lens, and you know what a shot is, you know how to do a script, and you know what lighting is and where you can find everything, you can make money. You can do well.
So obviously you're passionate about your profession.
Yes.
And it's obvious why you were selected Teacher of the Year. Congratulations. And continue to shine.
Thank you. I will shine so bright.
Congratulations.
Thank you.